You got a court case coming up, I would imagine, or you already got a date set to when you're going? You got a court case. So, God forbid you lose the case, you go back to prison, right? While you're there, what are you going to be able to do different than what you did last time? Understanding that you're an Israelite. What will you be able to do that we can't do? You're going to be right amongst your brothers in the cells where we can't go. They won't let us in there. But you understand who you are. You got that knowledge and understanding. You should be an example unto your brothers. You understand that? God forbid you got to go back. But if you do, guess what? God sent you here today so you can learn. And before you go back, you need to come to the school so you can get built up. Because it shouldn't be, I'm going back, and I'm going to be running in the gang, and I'm doing illegal. No, you should go back to be a light to your brothers. The same way all of us are here today. All of us lived different lifestyles before we came up. We weren't always in purple and gold. We was in the midst of sin. We was in the midst of adultery. We was running in gangs. We did all that. God said don't do that no more. Go to Proverbs 1 and 10. So, how old are you? 33. All right, I'm 34. So, how many times you been in and out of prison? Twice. Okay. So right now, what do you do for work right now while you out? Go to Ephesians 4. So listen, you understanding you Israel, you know you understanding that doesn't guarantee you nothing, right? You're gonna get the same judgment everybody else gonna get, right? Right. Hey, my brother right here. What's your name? Tyrone. So right now I'm about to go over him with what all of us, whether we know who we are or not, what God calls us to do. Listen good.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 28. Let him that stole.
Let him what?
Let him that stole.
So you can change stealing for prostitution, being a hitman, being a drug dealer. It's doing something that ain't right with God. You understand? To make a living. Let what?
Let him that stole.
The Bible says, let him that steal.
Steal no more.
Do what?
Steal no more.
Read.
But rather, let him labor, working with his hand.
But let him do what?
Working with his hand.
Because I know the system. We all know the system, right? In America, what's the rate of our brothers going back into jail once they've been in the system? What's the rate? 85%, right? Because the way the society is set up. Hard to get a job, hard to get all those different things. We get that. The second you check you've been incarcerated or you've been to prison or you got a felon, whatever, it's hard, right? But God has the solution for that. Read it again.
Let him that stole steal no more.
Now, does that apply when you work with your hands? When you learn how to do drywall? When you learn how to lay concrete? When you learn how to put up a roof? Do they care about that? Employers, do they care about that in certain fields? When you work with their hands? Manual labor. Do they care about your background? No, they don't. They don't. Do they care about your background? No. There you go. There you go. If you know what you're doing, if you're willing to apply yourself, be disciplined, show up on time, and do what you need to do, they'll pay you. Read it again.
Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands.
Do what?
Working with his hands. The thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth.
So you should be in a position. God says if you're doing something that's wrong, change and repent, work with your hands, and so you can be able to give to those that need. Right. You got a family, right? And now you understand that you're an Israelite. You got a whole nation that's dependent on you. Right. Now, you got a court case coming up, I would imagine, or you already got a date set to when you're going? You got a court case. So, God forbid you lose the case, you go back to prison, right? While you're there, what are you going to be able to do different than what you did last time? Understanding that you're an Israelite. What should you be doing? What did God call us to do? Give me Luke 14 and 23. What will you be able to do that we can't do? You're going to be right amongst your brothers in the cells where we can't go. They won't let us in there. But you understand who you are. You got that knowledge and understanding. You should be an example unto your brothers. You understand that? God forbid you got to go back. But if you do, guess what? God sent you here today so you can learn. And before you go back, you need to come to the school so you can get built up. Because it shouldn't be, I'm going back, and I'm going to be running in the gang, and I'm doing illegal stuff. No, you should go back to be a light to your brothers. The same way all of us are here today. All of us lived different lifestyles before we came up. We weren't always in purple and gold. We was in the midst of sin. We was in the midst of adultery. We was running in gangs. We did all that. God said don't do that no more. Proverbs 1 and 10 first. Proverbs 1 and 10. Listen good to this. If you in them gang stuff, you need to leave that stuff alone. You understand that? You need to leave that alone before you go back. Because what type of example you setting for your children and your brothers and sisters in the community? You understand that? You ain't setting no example. God says you are called to be an example unto your brother. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 10. My son.
My son, you God's son. Read.
If sinners entice thee.
Gangs. Are they sinners? Yeah. Big time sinners.
Right.
A lot of people say they run into a gang for identity. They run for the brotherhood.
Right.
They run for a sense of family.
Right.
You know why they do that? Because they don't understand who they are.
That's right.
Because they think they black. They think they African American.
Right.
They think they Haitian.
Right.
You already got a family. We family.
Right.
All these brothers out here is your family that you've been longing for, that you've been dying for. All those tattoos, all that. You're dealing with a lot of spirits. But guess what? All the stuff you're missing, it starts with you truly understanding that you're an Israelite. Not just saying it, but professing it with actions. You understand that? Read that again.
My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not.
Hold on, it says run with them.
Consent thou not.
What did God say do pertaining to a gang? Consent thou not. That means you should leave that alone.
Right.
You understand that? Understand, when you're in a gang, you're doing things that benefit everybody else except yourself.
Right.
Whatever killing, whatever robbing, whatever stealing, all that stuff is not to your benefit. All you're doing is terrorizing the community that you're supposed to be protecting, because that's what gangs originally started as.
Right.
But it turned into something different. It turned into now we murdering each other. You understand that? Give me that Leviticus 19:17. Leviticus 19:17. Gangs, we have a program in our organization where we go out and teach against gang violence. And what we see a lot of times is young men, they don't have a father in their life. They probably didn't play sports. God forbid. Sports is the only place that our brothers find family and belonging. They didn't have those things. So what do they turn to? They turn to the gang. And the gang is not teaching them what God tells them to do.
Right.
You understand that? Read that.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
God says you're not supposed to hate your brother in your heart.
That's right.
If you're selling drugs to your brother, do you love him or hate him?
Bring it out.
If you see your brother tweaked out, all he got is $20 and you take it from him, give him more drugs and more poison, do you love that brother or hate that brother? You hate him.
Right.
You hate him. Read it again.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
Hold on, what the Bible say?
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
What that mean, bro? What you supposed to do when you see somebody doing something that's wicked? You supposed to try to stop. You supposed to correct them swiftly.
Right.
Like I'm doing with my brother right here, because I actually love you, bro. I got 6 kids. I don't want my 2 brothers right here to grow up without their father. But if you keep following down that path that you're going, guess what? We're going to have to be the ones to raise up your children. You understand that? Which is fine if they with us, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to rebel against us. They're going to want to follow the example that their father left for them. What type of example are you going to leave for your children? Are they going to say, I want to follow my father who changed? He got his life together and did things right according to the Bible? Oh yeah, man, nah, he wanted to do what he wanted to do, and now he in jail. I don't know my father. I ain't seen him in years. You know, he get in and out every 5-10 years, and we see him, but you weren't able to set nothing up. You understand that? That's the truth.
The scriptures say, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV.
Do you know your history?
I'm going to show you and prove to you that the Israelites are black, were always black.
Dance for time, just move up your body. Don't get loose and groove on the body. Bruise, whine. Put on the armor, the procedure complete.
Me not go back, nah retreat. All traitors, every Jezebel must get delete. Me no sleep on a demon, me keep a full clip. Conspire me downfall, cause them want to me slip. Stay close to the real ones, we seal off and legit. Cause I gotta use them to keep your soul from the pit. This a war life. I swear the damn.
You understand that? That's a choice you got to make. Give me that Deuteronomy 30:19. Choose you this day whether you want life or death. You got to make that choice. Can't nobody else make that choice for you. But I can tell you this. All these brothers out here have done it before. We got several brothers in our organization, high-level gang members, turned away from that lifestyle, came into this truth. And guess what? The brotherhood and love that they have here was better than anything they ever had, because that's false. That's not real brotherhood. You understand? A real brother want to see you be successful in life. A real brother want to help you start a business, want to see you get married, want to see you have children, and you can actually take care of your children. What type of lifestyle it is that every day I'm looking over my shoulder? Right, that ain't living. That ain't living. You got it? Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you that I have set before you life and death.
He have set before you what?
Life and death. Blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed,
You see that? So that thou and thy seed
may live.
You see that? You got to choose life, because guess what? Your decisions are affecting more than just you, correct?
Right, that's right.
Whether you hear or not is affecting more than just you. It affects your
Bring
mother,
it out.
their mother, your wife, and it affects your children. The decisions they're going to make. Give me that in Sirach 30 about an avenger. Because it's your job to set an example for them so they have something to look up to. I give you a worldly example. LeBron James, right? His children, they say they ain't all that, right? But because of what LeBron did as a father, now his children are in a whole different outlook. They have different opportunities that they would not have had if their father didn't make those sacrifices. You understand? So that's the same thing you got. Your children, I think, it's I don't know what the percent is, but the percent of children that's in jail without a father is astronomical compared to those that did have a father in their life. Same thing with being a homosexual. Men that grow up without their father, a lot more chances they're going to grow up be homosexual, so on and so forth. So you are a safeguard and a hedge for them having a whole different lifestyle.
That's right.
But you got to be able to be selfish and say, you know what? I got to turn away from all these men, all these sinners. That's what they is, your gang members. You got to be willing to turn away from that.
Right.
You got to be able to choose life. If not, then guess what? You're going to go down the same path you've been going, which is death.
Right.
You understand that? You got it? Read that.
Sirach chapter 30 and verse 6. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends.
Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. He that loveth his son.
Hold on, what?
He that loveth his son.
If you love your son, you love your children, read.
Causeth him often to feel the rod.
What does that mean? That means you're going to correct them. How you going to correct them if you behind a cell? You understand that? How you going to be there if you ain't, if you can't do these things if you're not there and present in their lifestyle?
Right.
You understand? Read.
That he may have joy of him in the end.
Read.
He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him.
You see that? When you chastise your children, you're going to have joy of them. Now let me ask you this. What caused you to go into that lifestyle in the first place? In the gang. You from Orlando? Cleveland? Okay, yeah, Cleveland, that's a bad city. What caused you to go down that lifestyle? You had a father in your life?
I did. My daddy did. No.
Your father passed?
Yeah, at first he was in the streets, then he turned to be a pastor.
Okay. But he didn't teach you the commandments?
It wasn't, he ain't never having no time. It
Right.
wasn't even that he ain't having no time. I was on doing my thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to correct me. I ain't want to hear it.
Right.
Being
So,
dumb, stupid.
yeah, young and dumb. So you had a father in your life. He's gone now, but you didn't want to listen. So now you see the effects of your choices that you made on you, right? How did that work out for you?
He went to prison. I went to prison.
Right. So what are you going to do to change that? Give me Psalms 119 and 9. How are you going to change those generation curses that's in your family?
Right.
I'm asking you, what you think you should start doing?
Start doing shit different.
There you go. I'm gonna give you what that different is. You got it?
Start small.
Psalms 119 and 9.
The book of Psalm chapter 119 and verse 9.
Bring it out.
Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way?
You a young man. we may think we old, we in the 30s. Today, in today's, with technology and healthcare and all, we're going to live till we about 120. You ain't lived a third of your life. You understand that? In America, we think if we don't make it to the pros, if we don't go to college right away, we think life is over. That ain't real. Most millionaires don't become millionaires till they're 40, 50 years old. But black people think if we don't make it to the league, we ain't got an NBA career, we ain't got a music career by the time we 25, it's over with. That ain't true. You know what white people do? They keep stacking, keep working. It takes time to be successful. You understand that? So you ain't even started your life yet. I know you think it's over. You ain't even started. Read that again.
Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way.
You a young man. How can you cleanse your ways? Because the way you've been living so far, that's a dirty lifestyle. Right? How can a young man cleanse his ways? Read.
Bring it up. By taking heed thereto according to thy word.
That's doing right.
What? Taking heed thereto according to thy word.
Right. That's what you haven't done yet, brother.
Right.
You ain't took heed to the commandments of what you can and can't do.
Bring it up.
Everything you do, every movement you make needs to be gauged by the Bible.
That's right.
Your actions need to be weighed by, hey, can I or can I not do this according to the scriptures?
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.